We need to talk about the MAGA reaction to Taylor Swift endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris, because it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. So let's start with a man by the name of Dave Rubin, who was caught up in that Russian government money scandal based on the DOJ indictment. And he is saying that he had no idea that's where the money was coming from through this organization, Tenet Media. And that's something I'm willing to believe, but I also question why. Why, Dave Rubin? Do you think Russia wanted to bolster your message with that money? That should be a question you ask. But he had this to say about Taylor Swift, and it is so creepy and so gross.
And then let's talk a little bit about how this fits into the pop culture part of this, because pop culture is a huge driver of the cultural narrative. Well, here's the tweet from Colin Rugg about the Taylor Swift thing, and we'll get back to it in a second. So as we referenced before, Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris on Instagram after the debate on ABC, proudly calls herself a childless cat lady. Elon Musk, who they hate, he saw that, and he wrote this: "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life." So he's mocking, he's exposing the ridiculousness, right? It's like, Taylor Swift, you are a young, pretty girl. Do you know what the gang members from Venezuela do to young, pretty girls? It ain't pretty. So what do we have to do? We have to keep finding each other to whatever extent we can. We have to keep waking people up. It is the only chance we have in these remaining 60 days.
What's wrong with you? You know, what's wrong with you? If that's your analysis. First, referring to Taylor Swift as a young, pretty girl, it just, the vibes are all off. And then saying, do you know what the gang members from Venezuela do to young, pretty girls? It ain't pretty. Just sick and twisted stuff. You know, as shown by the record federal investment in public safety, including law enforcement, by the Biden-Harris administration, there's so many things wrong about this, but they try to do this weird thing where they justify any rhetoric about anyone by citing crimes, and people aren't safe, so it's justified to fearmonger in the ways that we do, even though we keep getting safer statistically, given the crime plummet that we've seen under Biden-Harris. So we're also against crimes you're referring to, while being against the disgusting rhetoric you use to make your points. And then again, just sort of that language about Taylor Swift, given who she is all off. But that's not where it stops when it comes to the MAGA freak out over Taylor Swift's endorsement. You have Gunther saying Taylor Swift is not a paid psyop with a bunch of laughy faces.
Good morning. Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
Taylor Swift is not a psyop.
And just a bunch of fake voices saying Taylor Swift's not a psyop. My question is, how do I say this? If the Democratic Party had the money to pay Taylor Swift an amount that would make it worth it for her to be a psyop, given how much money she already has and makes, the Democratic Party could just invest that money in so many ads that they could win these elections. If they had enough money to make Taylor Swift, to make it worthwhile for her to be a part of some conspiracy, given that she's a billionaire, then they could probably just use that money, instead of getting one popular celebrity to endorse Harris, to win elections through investments in the general things that help you win elections. Very bizarre. The same guy said half of America hates her, referencing Taylor Swift, with a Turning Point Action meme that says Taylor Swift just told half of America that she hates them. Except for she didn't, though, right? Just that part should be noted. She did, in that she didn't. She did from the standpoint of not doing that. Then I agree with you. Because all she did was endorse, which she's allowed to do, the person she likes more. Are you saying that your support for Trump represents hating the other half of America? Actually, let's be clear, the majority of America, because Republicans can't ever these days win the national popular vote. But that's not what supporting someone represents. It's weird you think that. It scares me that you think by supporting one candidate, you're saying you hate the whole rest of the country who supports a different candidate. She was super respectful. She said, you do your own research. You come to your own conclusion. This is what I'm doing based on the research that I've done. JD Vance got asked about Taylor Swift endorsement.
Endorsement of Harris and Waltz right after. She has 283 million followers on Instagram. And I'm sure that someone brought to your attention that she signed it, childless cat lady. This is a phrase that you are going to hear in your dreams and your nightmares probably for many years to come. How do you speak to women voters who obviously they care about what she thinks?
Of course. Well, look, we admire Taylor Swift's music, but I don't think most Americans, whether they like her music or fans of hers or not, are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most Americans. Look.
Really, JD? You just took irony out back behind the Fox News studio and murdered it. What are you talking about? Taylor Swift's endorsement doesn't matter because a billionaire celebrity who I think is fundamentally disconnected from the interests and the problems of most America, like the guy that you're running against, like that sort of billionaire disconnected person. No, he's different. He's different. If you haven't already and want to support us on our race to 1 million subscribers, you can do it by clicking that subscribe button below. Easy, free, simple. It makes all the difference. Back to the video. Then this.
Here you have Taylor Swift, probably just met Travis Kelce's mom for the first time. They're at
And this is actually from, just to give you a sense of how she sort of breaks these folks' brains, this is from a while ago.
Here you have Taylor Swift, probably just met Travis Kelce's mom for the first time. They're at the game last week, and she's going, let's effing go, right in front of her.
But Travis Kelce said that everybody in the booth that she was sitting in, his family, everybody said that she was so lovely.
Lovely, until, I'm sorry, if I heard that and my son was dating a girl who has a mouth like a Teamster, that's it. Either way, this couple is already more annoying.
You wouldn't want your son dating Taylor Swift because she said let's effing go once at a football game. I think that phrase is heard and said at every football game ever. This is my thing. When celebrities that either I am or am not a fan of endorse a political candidate I don't like, I go, all right. They, like all the other people who support candidates that I don't like, came to the wrong conclusion. That's a bummer. And then I move on with my life. It's weird how their arguments always get stranger and stranger. And in the case of Dave Rubin, more sexist and more sexist and just gross as they deal with this storyline when they could just go, all right, she made a different decision. I disagree. Move on. It always has to get. They have to spiral until they hit rock bottom, to mix two phrases there. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. Support the show and get the members only bonus show by clicking the join button below.